Good morning. How is everyone? It's Tuesday. And as promised, we're going to do the little labor-intensive, I'm just putting my hair up, leaves at the bottom. Because if we do them now, it means one, we won't have to do them later and have like a bunch of stuff to do at the end. And we're also going to learn a new stitch. So just a little background here. We're going to do the woven Picot stitch, and it's a 3D stitch. So it's something that's not going to lay flat like all of the other stitches that we've done have all lain really flat on here. These ones are actually going to be up in the air. So the only place that they'll be down into the fabric is down here at the bottom. So it's definitely optional. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. It's not a difficult stitch. It's just a little bit fiddly to like place them in the right place, if you know what I mean. Okay. So first, for people who definitely don't want to do any kind of 3D stitches, we're just going to do an easy peasy satin stitch to fill up all of these leaves, and then we'll do the woven on top of that. Okay, and this will make it so that because they're 3D and they come off, you'll be able to see behind them. So if you don't want all of this like sand to be showing behind your stitches, and you want to add like another layer or dimension to your embroidery, then we want to do these satin stitches first. So it's just really easy because obviously we're going to be stitching on top of it. Where's my scissors? I'll use these ones. I chose number 700, which is like a green. These ones are a bit blue green. This one's like green. And then a lighter, no number on this one, but a lighter green for the 3D ones. And then obviously you can mix and match where you want to, yeah? So you don't have to have all of them, all of one kind of leaf be one color, if that makes sense. So you don't have to do like the 3D ones all in one color and then the other ones also all in one color. You can like mix them up. Hope I'm making sense. You'll see when I'm done. So the first thing that we need to do is plan where you want to put your woven ones and where you want to put your regular satin stitch ones. And for the satin stitch ones, we're literally just going to do long straight stitches and then probably like a stem stitch in the other color just to like brighten them up a little bit. But plan where you want them to go. So for the woven ones that are going to be up in the air, we want them to be down here towards the bottom. We don't want to be starting them up here. Obviously you can try and do that if you want to, but I'm definitely going to have all of mine down here so that they can be like flapping, you know? So I'll probably do like 3 maybe. 1, 2, 3. So all of these other 3 here, I'll just do a regular satin stitch with. So like I said, we're going to do it really easy peasy. Obviously you could do like some different direction stitchings like these ones where you do an angle on each side, or you could do one side one color and one side the other color. I'm obviously just doing simple because we're going to put something in front of it. Like this isn't the main show. Do you know what I mean? But again, if you don't want to have the woven Picot in there, then you could do something a little bit more jazzier with this section. So I'm just using all 6 strands and I'm just going to fill up this one, the one behind it here, and then this one here. And then these other three, I'll probably end up doing just the woven Picot. I think if I had to pick a way to do it, I would probably just stitch all of them in Satin Stitch and then make some more woven Picot on top, just because I like layering. I like to have all of the layers. I think it looks super interesting. And it brings a little bit of like something to your embroidery, you know? So I'll do that one. This one I'll probably do in the lighter color, okay? And then how about this one? I also said this one, didn't I? Let's go straight in and see if I can't. And I'm gonna make this a full leaf, so it goes all the way down to the bottom instead of being hidden. I knew that was gonna happen because I'm almost out. It's all gonna make sense, I promise. So this is really just like adding a background. Oh no. Okay, let's tie this one. If I can. It's so tiny. The strings are so tiny. Now, any way that you choose to do this is completely fine. There's no, like, you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. Like, don't be silly. Whichever way you decide to do it, that's okay. And I know some people, they just don't like the 3D embroidery when there isn't any other 3D embroidery anywhere else. And sometimes I can be a little bit like that. I don't like to just add things just to add things. But that was always the plan for this side, was to add some little 3D guys coming up. So I'm okay with it. Whereas sometimes I feel like the design doesn't make sense just throwing things in just to throw them in, you know? Okay. So I'm almost done with this color, green. Hi, George. Oh my gosh, my stomach is making the funniest noises today. This one isn't gonna lay flat, is it? There we go. And then let's get the lighter color in there. And then we'll start with the woven. Ew. There's a fly in here. And I'm going a little bit fast for this part, but this is all stuff that we've learned before. So I feel like it's a little bit, you know, for the sake of doing it. Some people just like to stitch along anyways, you know. We've got Carrie on here and Kirsty. Hello. How are ya? So let's just fill this little bit up. And then obviously we'll go back and do the outline. Make it a little interesting. You could also use something like colored pencils or even more watercolor to put behind these woven Picot stitches, just so that you don't have to do the satin stitch if you really didn't feel like it. I think I can fit one more in there. What is this? And then I think this guy. Nope. Okay, so for this next stitch, because I've pretty much done all of like the background that I'm gonna do, I can always go back and outline later, yeah? Since that will take a little bit longer. Is that literally where I just put it? Let's try again. I'll try there. Okay, so I've got these background pieces in. And then, like I said before, we can go back and add the outline, jazz it up a little bit, yeah? So for the next stitch, what we're going to need, this one, and this one, is another needle. So you need a needle to work with that you're gonna stitch on, and then you also need a needle to stick into your embroidery that's gonna stay there, okay? So because these are 3D, yeah, there's not gonna be anything in these areas. So they're gonna be sand colored. They're gonna be up off the fabric like that. So again, this is where if you really don't like to see this color behind, then you need to fill that up with something. So that's why I've quickly just done these 3 so that we had a little bit in the background. But again, if you don't want to see that and you want it to look more full, then you need to do all of them and then add these woven bits in later. Okay? All right, let's zoom in and get started. We'll do a really easy one. It'll be this one over here by the fish. Okay, so you need an additional needle. Where's the long one? It doesn't have to be very long. And what you're gonna do with this needle is you're gonna put the needle down wherever you want the very tip of your weed or your leaf to go, okay? So if we wanted a short one, we would put it down here. That means that your leaf is only gonna be this long. If you want a big leaf, then you need to put it however big you want your leaf to be, Okay, so I want mine to end up here, so it's like completely covering the fish. And you're gonna take this needle out later. So don't worry about, oh, I've just poked something, or I've just like made it, you know, whatever. You're gonna take it out later. And all I'm gonna do is push this up with my thumb so that it stays up like that. Do you see? So on the back, you've just got a little needle that's gone through. Oh, Jessie's out there. And on the front, you've got it like this, okay? Now choose whatever color that you want for your actual leaf or your seaweed. And I'm gonna choose the lighter color because I've just done the darker color right next to it. So I wanna have a lighter color leaf here. And you're just gonna thread your needle like you normally would, put a knot on the end like you normally would. Now, because this is a woven stitch, you need to weave it, which means that we're only going to have an odd number of spokes, if you know, with the woven wagon wheel. You need to have an odd number. If you have an even number, it won't work as well, okay? It can work with 2, but it's a little bit more difficult to work with like 4 or 6. I think at least. So the first place, I'm trying to go slow, but I'm trying to also not faff about, okay? So the first place we're gonna put our needle up is gonna be determine how wide your leaf is. So if you wanna have a really like big wide leaf, you wanna put it up over here and down like over here, yeah? That means that from here to there to this triangle, that's where your leaf is gonna be. It's going to be huge, okay? So wherever you put your needle up and down for your first stitches, that's going to determine the width of your leaf. So I'm going to stick with the pattern a little bit and put it up here, okay? We're going to go around this needle. So that's why I said wherever you put this needle here, that's how tall your leaf is going to be. So if I put it way, way, way up here, then it would be a tall, tall leaf. Yeah, if I put it shorter, it would be shorter. Okay? Now where I put it down, that's how wide my leaf is gonna be. So if I put it down here, it's gonna be all of this space. Okay? So I'm gonna put it down about there. So it's a little bit overlapping, but like not a lot overlapping. Okay, and then we're going to go up one more time, and it's going to be in the middle of these two. So wherever the middle of those two things is for you, you're going to go up again around that needle. So this is what we have so far. We've gone up here, around the needle, and then down. And we've gone up one more time in the middle of these two lines, right in the middle, and we've gone around. Are you with me? I hope so. Okay, so now with this one, we're not actually gonna go through the fabric anymore. We're just gonna weave between these 3 strands. So for the first one, I'm gonna go in the middle. And push that up. Yeah. And then under this one, over that one, and under this one. So it's the same thing with weaving. Over, under, over, over, under, over. But we've got 3. So you're going to pull it, get it right up there, and tighten it up. Okay? So obviously we've gone over, or sorry, under this one. So we need to go over. Yeah. So if you see here, you're doing the opposite each time. So this one here, up there, that was under, so obviously we need to go over with this one. And what it's doing is it's making a little weave, but it's making the weave that's not in the fabric. It's just making the weave on top. And then we go back again. So this one's over, so we go under. You want to pull it tight, but not too tight. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to like smash these two, these lines here together. Okay, you want them to still be a little bit loose. So we're going to continue that. This is where I wish I had the ability to like turn the video into one of those time-lapse things, because this freaking takes forever. So sorry if your children are watching. And that's why I'm not doing all of them like this. I'm only doing a couple because they do take a long time. But if you see, do I need to zoom it in a little bit? Can everyone see okay? Do you get the idea of it? Because I'm happy to zoom if you need to. I know sometimes it makes it, chat is so quiet because we're all paying attention. I know, right? I know, that's why I was like, oh my God, maybe this was a bad idea. No, nobody's saying anything. They're all like, you've got to be out of your mind if you think we're going to be doing that. Tori. Girl, you crazy. Okay, so we're going to keep going with this, yeah, the whole way. Making sure it's pushed up. Okay. And you do get an idea. So for me, because of the way that we started, when I go from left to right, I'm always going to skip the middle one. See? I'm going to go through two. And when I go from right to left the other way, I'm always going to go under just the middle one. So you kind of get like a little idea of how the stitches work. I feel like I'm getting dry mouth from talking so much. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, ooh, you all right, Veronica? Do you want it a bit zoomed in or anything? Because she gave me the thinking face, you know, the face that's like, Totally makes sense. Okay, Susie. Oops. Yeah, make sure you're paying attention because you really want to make sure that you do every other one, you know? Over, under, over, under, over, under. Or under, over, under, over, under, over, you know? Okay, so the real magic happens when you take the needle out at the end. And you can see that it's floppy because right now it's pinned down by that needle. Can you see? We've pinned it down. So all of this here is open. Yeah. All this is open and it's just pinned by that needle. So when we take the needle off, that's when you're really going to see that it's a 3D stitch. And you'll also be able to see why I'm saying if you want to fill up the space behind it, then you need to do that before. I guess you don't need to do it before. You could always add it after because they are 3D. You can just flop them down. fine. This looks real okay. What is this witchcraft stitchery? Oh, you know, I watched Hogwarts last night, so I thought maybe, or I watched Harry Potter, so I thought maybe just put some witchcraft in there. This is the woven Picot stitch, or just Picot stitch. And it's a 3D stitch that we weave. Steady face. Yeah, that's what it is. So the only tricksy part is at the very end, because if you can see, this is worked in a straight line back and forth. Yeah. So when we get to here, we're only going to have 2, which means we might have to put it down into the fabric and then weave it, and then down into the fabric and weave it so that it can still stay anchored at the bottom. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, okay? Mary says, I need to watch this from the beginning later. Okay, so basically all we've done so far is a 6-strand satin stitch, which I did super messy to fill up some of the spaces. Yeah. And then we're doing this woven Picot stitch over top of some of them because one, they do take forever, as you can see. You do have to weave them. They do look really cool when you're done, because they are 3D and they come off your fabric. But it's a little bit mean to require everyone to do these for all of it, you know? So it just depends on if you would like to see the sand color behind your seaweed, or if you, sun went away, didn't it? Or if you are okay seeing your sand behind, or if you would rather have green behind. And obviously you can do the satin stitch behind it to fill up that. You could do like coloring behind it if you wanted to do like some colored pencils or something, just to fill in that space so that it doesn't look like it's sand colored where everything else is filled up. So it just depends on, too tight. So it just depends on what you like, you know? I'll sometimes weave with the blunt end to stop catching the thread. Yeah, so she's saying with the eye of the needle, I've tried doing that, and I'm so used to stitching how I stitch that I always end up poking my thumb with the bottom of it. So I end up just doing it like this. Also, you could use a tapestry needle, which I do have right here. Look like this. And they are straight up blunt on the bottom. So they're not really pointy at all. They have a really big, like mega big eye. So they're nice to weave with as well, because you can really go through and it won't catch any of the threads at all. But that's a really good point, is that you don't want to be going through these threads. You don't want to catch one. And it gets a bit more difficult as you go down. You also want to start this stitch with a lot of thread, because if you run out in the middle, it's not like you can just put your needle down and get more. Do you know what I mean? We're weaving the whole way down. So you want to have enough thread to be able to do all of it without changing your colors or getting more thread or anything like that. Gonna have to start doing it one by one, I think. Okay, so we're almost at the point where I'm gonna need to put my needle down. If I can get like one more out of this. Yeah. Decisions. Personally, if I had more time, I probably would have done all of them in a satin stitch and then done this over top, only because I think I want to see the green behind. Okay, so now we're at a point where I can't go around this third one anymore. Okay, so we're just gonna go straight down in. Okay, and then up right below it. So we can go over this one and go around it. Yeah, and then under and down. And then up on the next row. Over. Oops, I caught that. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricksy because you want to try and keep it the same. So each of these is like one thread length, you know, you want to try and keep it the same thread length the same thread length as you go down and not pull it too much. As you can see, I've already pulled it, so it's kind of going in a little bit, which is fine. So now I've just got the two. I told you I was getting dry mouth. Sorry. And then soon we'll just have the one. Yeah, so that one, this one right here will just be coming up, going around. Okay, and then we'll take this needle out after we've done them all. So basically I'm just wrapping. Jesse's out there chasing pigeons around. And you know what? I swear those pigeons know exactly what they're doing. They're like, ha ha ha, you can't catch us. Okay, so we've got that. Obviously I could have gone a little bit closer with these ones, but that's okay. Let's do a little knot on the back. All right, and then you just slide your needle out like that, and you've got this floppy bit. Looks like I should have started the other way because these aren't not really together there. That's okay. Yeah. And it goes all the way down. So this is what I mean by you're not going to have anything behind it. So let me zoom out a bit. This is what we've got. And then obviously you can tack these down if you wanted to. If you wanted to keep it so that it's like not floppy like that. You know what I mean? You put a little tacking stitch wherever you want it to lay, and then it will still be 3D, but it just won't be flopping back and forth. Yeah? This stitch looks like a sweet corn cob. It does. A lot of people use it for corn because it literally looks like a corn on the cob. But yeah, so this is what we've got for today. So it's your choice, really, whatever you decide to do. There's no shame in choosing something different or choosing something that's not. I'm just gonna quickly do like a little outline on this one, I think, in a darker color. If you want to choose something that's not this, that is absolutely fine. I'm not gonna be angry. I'm not gonna judge. Whatever you feel like, that's okay. I know that it's a little bit of a tricky situation. A tricky stitch. But I really do think that you guys can do it. So give it a go if you feel like it. And if not, you can always do other fancy things with the stitches that we've already learned previously. And then you don't have to do, that fly is so big, disgusting. Then you don't have to do the weaving if you don't feel like it. I'm just doing a little outline here. All right, so the only thing that you really have to keep in mind when doing the woven Picot stitch is how far up you want your leaf to go, and then how wide do you want it to be at the bottom. So obviously I pulled mine a little bit too tight. That's why we've got this swaying action happening there. But yeah, that's okay. It's underwater, so it's all swaying, isn't it? It's all moving with the water, so it's all fine. But yeah, give it a go if you feel like it. If you don't feel like it, that's okay too. I'm just gonna end the video, but I'm gonna leave it on for a little bit because I've had a couple people say that when I end the video, it just abruptly stops. So be sure to tag at the Barmy Fox and use the hashtag the Barmy Fox SAL, and like and comment on each other's work because people like that. Don't know what David's doing. He's just come in and got his coat, but he's gone out the back door. It doesn't lead anywhere. So yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely Tuesday, and I can't wait to see what you decide to do. Okay? I've literally just done a little outline, that's it. And I'll come back and outline these. All right, so I'll leave it on for a little bit so that it doesn't abruptly stop. And have a great day. Bye.